there is a serious lack of intentionality and stick-to-itness. And it's killing people. You have to build something that can stand up on its own. There's a lot of money behind social movements and etc. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of social capital around these things. But there's not nearly as much movement and effort around actually fixing and repairing that people think is going on. If you come to me and say your primary objective financially is to buy your first home and you'd like to buy a multifamily property and exercise the strategy of house hacking, and my overarching rebuttal was, well, okay, great. Based on the financials that I know about you, based on your history, your situation, you're gonna need to focus and prioritize building out your credit. You're gonna need 3 primary trade lines on your account that are all at minimum a year old. And then I turn around and tell you a little bit more specifically, look, you also don't want to be too aggressive in applying for trade lines or credit line accounts or credit cards, whatever the case may be. So you want to space them out 3 to 6 months at a time. The first mistake's going to happen in that conversation, and you're probably going to be enthusiastic. You might even execute at that moment and get your first credit card. I'm going to have to probably hound you if I put the effort to get you to come back within that 3 to 6 month window to get the next credit card. And I highly likely will not see you again for the third one. The biggest challenge / issue / poor habit that I see between those who do well financially and those who do not, and all of the, cultural components around that and the different demographics, is going to be those that know how to actually have urgency, intentionality, get a plan together and actually stick that plan out until it executes, until it gets to its end goal. That has got to be the single biggest thing. And I know for a lot of you, I know a lot of people, this is going to seem borderline, for some at least, this cliche conversation around, this non-strategic, wooism around mindset, intentionality, etc. I notice that is a real turnoff for people. But for those of you who have the attention span and the desire to really do better for yourself, financially speaking, and project the rest of the things in your life that are important through stable quality finances, I recommend that you follow out through the rest of this video, because I'm really going to give my perspective on this as a professional banker, as somebody who literally works with people's personal and business finances all day, every day. I manage a book of business of $22 to $25 million in small businesses and everyday consumers and everyday people. And that's not to talk about what I do in loans, investments, etc. So that analogy that I gave is like a large base of my clientele, and my clientele is very diverse. It's not a specific ethnic group, age group, racial group, none of that. I have literally everybody from high school students all the way up to the 80 plus range. And every demographic that you can think of, I help, and I have helped. The most common theme that I see is a lack of urgency, a lack of intentionality, a lack of strategic planning, and a lack of execution. Finances take time. It is very much like health and wellness. When you start the journey of saying, look, I'm dead ass serious about getting my health on a certain level, I'm dead ass serious about getting my body to a certain point, or restoring back some functionality that I've been missing due to some health issues, etc., etc., etc. When you make a commitment to yourself, or at least, throw out the idea that you're diligently looking to make a change in this arena, just like in health and wellness, finance is going to be the same damn thing. You absolutely are going to have to commit to an end goal, something that you're looking to reach, and you're going to have to develop a strategic plan, and you're going to have to commit daily habits to follow through with that plan. Every single thing that you're going to want to accomplish, the end goal might be buying a house, it might be buying multiple pieces of real estate, it might be buying land, it might be starting and growing a business, it might be building a strong, solid retirement fund. The list goes on of things financially you can accomplish that can lead you to a higher quality of life. Of that list, every single one of them have that one single ingredient in common. Doesn't matter what line of business and finance it is, all of them have the one thing in common. It takes time. You have to get a plan, develop that plan out, stick that plan out all the way through the end. And when I tell you the people that I help that are failing the most suck at that, I mean flat out suck at that. Like literally, I literally just come from an event panel that I spoke on, I got invited to speak on, which was a complete honor and a pleasure, because the place that I was speaking at was a really historic part of not only my city, but African-American culture and American culture as a whole in my city. And, the event wasn't huge. It was really directed towards young artists, but, they decided they wanted somebody that can speak to the financial side of that business, of the artist and, creator in the side of the industry, and then somebody could plug in the financial part around it. So I was literally the only one on a panel of like 5 or 6. Everybody else was some kind of filmmaker or actor or, something else around there. And I was the banker in the middle. At that panel, I got to speak. I had, some questions I answered directly. I had some questions asked to me directly. And, my presentation skills are great. So, I'm able to relay great messages around finances and get people excited and looking to take action. In the midst of that, people are mingling after the fact of that event and, connecting, talking, as you can expect. The number one thing I constantly hear from everybody is like, oh man, I've been meaning to get started on this credit thing. Oh man, I really have been thinking about getting my own studio together. And I know that they say I need to have so much bank statements, or my income needs to be so stable for so long, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then it's always like, oh, I'm gonna catch up with you, I'm gonna holler at you. I'm telling you, man, you really inspire me. I really need to go do this. And it's crickets every single time, damn near. And I'm not saying this from complaining from a clientele base, because I'm doing fine in that arena. This is not me complaining like, oh, I'm just not getting clients from when I go network and stuff. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm telling you is on the end of the person who needs what I have to offer, there is a serious lack of intentionality and stick-to-itness. And it's killing people, killing people. This whole panel is talking about how the film industry is dying over here, and this industry, so things are drying up over here, and this group is coming in and taking over our stuff, and it's supposed to be ours, but these people keep coming in and invading, taking our stuff. All this other rah-rah about being victims, essentially, to different moving parts, politically, economically, socially. And I'm sitting up there at the panel and I'm answering some of these questions. I'm like, you have to build something. You have to build something that can stand up on its own. It doesn't mean that you're not going to end up, collaborating with other entities or getting consumed or gobbled up by and it's bought out and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, even if you just create an independent entity or incorporate yourself in order to create some real structure, foundation, and integrity behind whatever art you're creating or whatever it is you're doing, even if you just do that as a single sole member LLC or even a damn sole proprietorship, at least, start creating a real financial, brand yourself as a real entity, and build the financial infrastructure that would allow you to at least stand up on your own 2 feet, or at least be stable enough not to be desperate, or at least be strong enough not to be bullied out of what you've created. Nobody is coming to save any of us. I understand the world has been a place in a lot of different capacities, and I understand that, certain groups of people on this planet have been through some horrible traumatic experiences for a pretty long duration of time. A lot has been robbed, a lot has been taken, a lot has been stolen, et cetera, et cetera. Fast forwarding to the modern world we're in today, there's a lot of money behind emotions, there's a lot of money behind social movements, and et cetera. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of social capital around these things. But there's not nearly as much movement and effort around actually fixing and repairing that people think is going on. There's not nearly as much Superman and Wonder Woman come and save the day and kick the door down and protect you from all the trauma and all of the abuse and these big powerful entities coming in and stealing all your stuff or, appropriating your stuff. Listen, bro, when I tell you that there's just not what you think is there, a lot of people think is there around that arena. It's just not. You have to stand up for yourself, and you can't stand up for yourself if you are resource poor, if you have no financial continuity, if you have no financial infrastructure underneath you. I don't give a damn what talents and gifts you got. You're gonna always fall victim to the person with the money, the infrastructure, the network. You're gonna always fall victim to it. It's never gonna stop. And so I'm sitting here looking at a bunch of young, largely minority faces that are confused and scared about things. One of them was asking about AI and scared about AI, and others was like, what's 3 major goals towards, how artists can protect themselves and build themselves up financially, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm just sitting up here like, y'all literally want to jump to these really high level, in-depth game strategies that sound cool and sexy and have these big fancy numbers behind it. And nothing is going to take away mindset, intentionality, game planning, and taking action, taking steps and completing and executing it. Not just like, oh, I'm gonna start budgeting or start the process of pulling my bank statements and budgeting or start the process of tracking my spending and expenses or start the process of cleaning and repairing my credit and not following through with it and letting something come along in life and distract you and pulling you back to the habits that you had. You have to create a solid foundational game plan that is going to lead you to the 2 to 3 years of financials that you need to qualify for that multifamily property. That is going to lead you to the 2 or 3 years of financials you need to qualify for that business lending. That's going to be working capital or help you grow, expand or start that business. You're going to need that time frame to build that investment portfolio that eventually can scale out to something that you can actually lean on or potentially pull from. I'm telling you as somebody who's had the privilege and the honor of dealing across the financial world. And I'm not saying like across the globe, etc. But for my given space, I've been life insurance, small business, investment retirements, consumer everyday banking, small business banking, mortgage lending, real estate loan brokering and investing, etc. Those loans, all of it. I am telling you the biggest single thing I see that separates people who get it and who don't of some other major ingredients. But this is the biggest thing as I see is people who are actually serious, bro. They come, and immigrants come here, they figure this shit out in no time. They come here with a game plan and they run circles around us. Natural native born Americans with all of these tools and infrastructure that is in this economy and in our system. These people come from other countries and within months to years to a decade or two, they surpass us in net worth, income, business revenues, homeownership rates, credit score, you name it. A lot of these people barely speak the language sometimes, bro, and they still come here and put together infrastructure, they put together entities, networks, they put together something sturdy that can be built upon and that is not easily knocked down or consumed or invaded or appropriated. And for those of us who are outside of those groups of people, and you know who you are, your biggest problem is you won't build something yourself. You won't build something that anybody else can latch on to, that anybody else can, connect their value to and scale up with you. You won't build anything because you won't even stick to a plan. You won't create a plan and you won't stick to a plan. Like all this talk, everything, I didn't say it at the time of the panel, but I'm sitting there thinking like the majority of y'all, if y'all don't get your money right, y'all can have all the ideas, aspirations, talents, gifts, technical skills. Who gives a fuck? Who cares? Like literally, who cares? It's gonna mean absolutely nothing when you can't financially stand up on your own 2 feet. The first stiff breeze that come through, you're gonna fall over. It's over. Don't make no sense. So I'm just speaking my 2 cents. It was an honor to speak at the panel. It was a gift to reach out some young people or some people who needed to hear what I had to say, so I'm not complaining about that either. But I did find the value enough to take the time to just create this video to have this conversation and to speak out and see if by chance you're catching this. I'm telling you right now, the greatest thing that you can do to your own benefit is finding out what you're looking to accomplish, creating or getting with people or individuals that can help you create a great game plan and actual actionable steps from A to Z, and making daily habits to stick them out. Because whether it's health and wellness, finance, you name it, whatever it is, I'm telling you right now, building a business, real estate investing, stock investing, crypto, whatever the hell tickles your fancy and gets your hormones going. At the end of the day, I'm telling you right now, if you don't know how to create a plan and stick that plan out and execute on it, nothing else is gonna matter. It doesn't matter how well you sing, tap dance, Harlem Shake. I don't give a what your MO is. I don't care what it is. At the end of the day, if you don't figure out, if you don't learn how to create a financial plan, how to get around financial professionals and other people that can really help you and you can delegate to help you get there. If you don't figure that out, nothing else you want to bring into the world, nothing else legacy you want to leave, and none of that is going to ever come to fruition if you don't figure out the finances for the most part. That's just what it is. Comment down below. Let me know how relatable this might be for you. Let me know if you are somebody who is in the space of art or anything art creative. Let me know if you understand what I'm saying about the concept of sticking to creating a financial plan and sticking it out, and how it's made a difference, or not doing so and being one of those people who haven't, and how it's hurt you. Be honest in the comment section. To all my pioneers, welcome back. To my new viewers, welcome in. As always, I want each and every one of you to stay focused, stay in motion. I'll see y'all soon. This is my blueprint for financial empowerment and self-sufficiency. This is my blueprint for optimal health and body mastery. This is my blueprint for mental, physical, and spiritual momentum. This is my blueprint for prosperity.